live look for you at the Capitol Dome in Washington. House Republicans are set to hold a key vote on the debt ceiling. It could have wide-ranging implications for our nation and the global economy. Will they raise that? The White House is standing firm on their demands for a uncompromised debt ceiling increase. President Biden pledges to veto Kevin McCarthy's proposal that ties any debt increase to spending cuts. And joining us now to talk more about this is Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Great to see you, Senator.
Morning.
What is so hard for Democrats about cutting the budget long term? This seems like a pretty common sense idea. Raise the debt ceiling to avoid this fiscal cliff, but we got to cut back on spending at some point.
Well, they don't want to cut. They'll never vote to cut anything. I've never seen anything like it. They love playing Santa Claus. They know that that's when they get their votes, and they're telling people, we're going to help you. We're going to write you a check, and don't worry about doing anything about it. You know, a debt ceiling increase needs to be paired with a spending cut, and I hope that happens in the House. And I've read some of it, and it looks like they got that in there. You know, the president was happy to sign trillions of dollars of spending into law, last few years. He should be happy to discuss spending reform. We have to do that. We can't afford to do this. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And I just hope that we come to realization that we're up here for the American people. We're not up here to get reelected. And if it costs you an election, go home and get you a job. A lot of these people up here, all they do is vote to get reelected.
Yeah, a lot of them have never had real jobs before. Never had to answer to a college with a very, very high standards for winning like you have. Coach, let's talk about Elizabeth Warren. Yesterday, she is furious about your blocking of these 200 military promotions over the Pentagon's abortion strategy. Tell us about this.
Well, she's on Armed Services Committee, and I wanted to ask her, and will next time, when's the last time you voted for the military budget? She hates the military, but she's going to get involved in this fight because it supposedly involves abortion. They've had an abortion policy in the military for decades, and this is not about abortion. This is about the White House legislating and writing up a new bill in terms of a policy to have more abortions at any time at the taxpayer's expense. We're going to go from 24 to 30 abortions a year in the military, which we had no problem. There was no complaints. But all of a sudden now we're going to go to an unlimited, taxpayer-funded, 3-week rehab for the mom, fly anywhere they want to have their abortion. And who's going to pay for it? The taxpayers. And 30 years ago, Joe Biden and the Democrats passed a bill that says no abortion. That started really in the VA, but now it's kind of creeping over, and they know that they want to do abortions any way they possibly can after the Dobbs decision. So this is just them fighting back. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but
it's really not. Like you said, it's really not about the issue of abortion. It's about them leveraging this issue just to use it as a cudgel against Republicans. Also want to talk to you about what's going on the border. There's a very important hearing this afternoon. A whistleblower from Health and Human Services is going to talk about how the federal government is basically the middleman for a massive human trafficking operation. The youngest victims of this are being put into risky jobs. But somehow Karine Jean-Pierre is trying to turn the blame back on Republicans. Here she is blaming Republicans for the fentanyl crisis.
In the run-up to the 2022 election, House Republicans promised to put cops on the beat. Instead, they're fighting to put fentanyl on the street by defunding Border Patrol. Their proposal makes clear that
she can't even say that off the top. She has to read it off the statement. But how do you even respond to something like that?
You can't make this up. I mean, I don't know what she's doing this job. She needs to go get a real job too and learn what the real life's about, an American life. They blame everything on Republicans, but these people have started it all. They have absolutely ruined our country in 2 years and a couple of months. And everybody says, well, we're going to hopefully vote this president out. I don't know whether we can make it another year and a half with these dumb decisions, with the spending money, with the border, with inflation, with all these reckless foreign policy decisions. It's absolutely amazing. We have zero leadership up here in Washington, D.C. It's a crime what's going on here.
Yeah, it is. And it gets worse every day. I also wanted to ask you about your efforts with the Protecting Women's Sports bill. You worked very hard on that. We recently heard from Leah Thomas, the trans swimmer, and she thinks anyone trying to protect the integrity of women's sports is a transphobe. Here she is.
they're using the guise of feminism to sort of push transphobic beliefs. And I think a lot of people in that camp sort of carry an implicit bias against trans people, but don't want to, I guess, fully manifest or speak that out. And so they try to just play it off as this sort of half support.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you respond to that one as well, Senator?
It's amazing to me. I spent 40 years in sports, and I don't care what you want to believe you are, or who you are, or what you want to do. This is a free country. But to compete, if you're a boy, we're born a boy, compete against girls, which is totally unfair, is absolutely insane. But the Biden administration is pushing this. They said, oh, we only got a few. If you do this, you got to remember, college athletics is a business, and the coaches are going to start recruiting trans athletes to participate in women's sports. That's going to eliminate women altogether. They are destroying Title IX. They ought to be embarrassed what they're doing. But again, it's all about getting votes and pushing a narrative that they think that the far left like. And of all the bills, this is going to backfire on the Biden administration.
And lastly, Senator, real quick, we have a clip we're going to play in a little bit of Chuck Schumer. He was on the floor of the Senate talking about Tucker Carlson, basically imploring Rupert Murdoch to silence Tucker Carlson. To some, it seems like this is Rupert Murdoch capitulating to Chuck Schumer and other people that wanted other conservative voices silenced. What's your read on it?
Well, for 15 years, I woke up to Fox News and go to bed with Fox News. Now I'm waking up to Newsmax and going to bed with Newsmax. I'm sick of it. Let them talk and speak how they want to speak. Get out of the dang way. This is a free country. But Glenn Beck, everybody that they fired over there, this is a liberal family that's trying to make a name for themselves, and they have just cost themselves a lot of money. Folks, if you're on Fox, turn it off. Go to Newsmax. Go to one of the conservative stations. Get away from this mess, because it's absolutely a crime what this Murdoch family is doing.
Coach, thank you for your time. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Take care.